TVC has a finger on the pulse and our eyes on the streets, and we bring you trending stories on a daily basis that are shaping the world that you and I live in. We begin today's segment with this story. A Nigerian businesswoman's plight is trending online after she was denied entry into the United States despite holding a valid visa. Now, in a video of her return to Nigeria, the visibly upset woman explained that she had traveled to attend a trade fair in Texas using her B1, B2 visa, a visa type that allows for both tourism and limited business activity. But upon her arrival, she said that she was pulled aside, interrogated, and held for nearly 24 hours before being sent back home. She says that the U.S. immigration officials scrutinized her phone and found conversations with customers that pointed to her plans to engage in commercial sales, something that is, of course, potentially outside the scope of her tourist visa. Let's take a listen. Well, interesting, because this incident is coming just days after the U.S. State Department announced a controversial new policy requiring visa applicants, particularly students, to make their social media profiles public. And now, though this directive was aimed at student visas, what just unfolded in this story raises the question of if broader digital footprints may now affect immigration decisions. American intelligence is always watching. I think it's clear now more than ever that our digital footprint and our digital character online matters a lot. It's important that we treat our online presence clearly as part of our travel documents. It matters what you post. Let's take a look at social media. This woman actually got to America and she was deported back. That is not a fun ordeal. Kunle Kodet says, you want to visit a country, they denied you entry. What's the big deal to make you sob like this? Just this week, a friend of mine, a European woman, said that she discontinued a US visa application because they asked for her social media handles and were going to go through all her posts. And she can't accept that. Stay in your country or go to another country. It's really that simple. Interesting. We must think of, I will take another tweet, we must think of our social media profiles as a portfolio, if you will. Emmy says, her visa is a B1, B2 visa, which is tourism. You don't use that kind of visa to go in for business. Obviously, they saw her social media handles and messages of her business plans in the US, and so she was denied entry. It's as simple as that. No harm, no foul. And moving on in a more serious development. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA, is doubling down on its warning to Nigerians. Do not carry bags that you haven't packed yourself. In one case earlier this week, we saw a man that was arrested after picking up a parcel for someone without checking the contents. The NDLEA spokesperson, Femi Babafemi, says the luggage turned out to contain hard drugs. In another arrest that we did discuss on the paper review, the agency intercepted a former international football player, Segun George Hunkari, at Lagos's Murtala Mohammed International Airport. He was caught with 37 wraps of cocaine, weighing 800 grams, hidden in his hand luggage. As drug traffickers exploit old fame and public trust, the NDLEA says that ignorance is no longer an excuse and that anyone caught will be held accountable. This is so interesting. This international football player has been brought to national disgrace, and another innocent bystander, their bags were filled with drugs by somebody they tried to help collect a package from. We must be very, very careful. These carry heavy jail sentences. Let's take a look at social media. Adetunji Adewolu says, talent without discipline are fast-tracked to disgrace. I assume he's referring to the football player. Ummi says, I don't blame people that travel and don't tell anyone that they are traveling. Interesting. And Nigerians were a population who, with the moment we hear somebody is traveling, we want to give them something to carry. So we have to be very careful. Moving on in a more controversial story, Pastor Bulaji Dou, the founder of Harvesters Church International, has made headlines and turned heads for the comments he made during his sermon on Sunday. While preaching about courage and fearlessness, the popular Lagos-based pastor appeared to make sweeping generalizations and stereotypes about Nigeria's major tribes, implying that Yoruba people are culturally inclined to fear, while Igbos are naturally fearless. Take a listen.
There's a problem with your race. Yoruba people, hold on here. Even if you are 48, hold on here. There's a problem with your race. It's called fear. Life bows for the courageous. Life walks against the fearful. I'm saying it so that you can, from a young age, destroy it. That's why I love the Igbos. They are fearless. There's no country in this world you not see an Igbo man there. Nobody can do anything significant in life Because of fear. One of the reasons people never emerge or go forward in life is fear.
Now, this sermon has since gone viral, and it drew both a lot of criticism and also reflection. Some churchgoers and social media users are saying that the message reinforces harmful tribal stereotype, and it risks fueling division rather than unity, especially coming from a Christian pulpit that many believe should, of course, preach reconciliation, peace, and unity, not generalization. In any context you want to put it, stereotypes are dangerous. They don't promote unity, and more than ever, Nigeria needs a united front and a united belief system. Let's take a look at social media. The mayor of Anambra says he is talking about the culture of humility and respect that is embedded into many Yoruba people, especially well-trained ones. This culture has been used to control them. It is virtually impossible for a well-trained Yoruba person to be rebellious against an obstacle in an elderly form. Interesting. We'll take another submission. Adeo Mojola says, there is nothing fearful about Yoruba history. Either this one doesn't know history, or he should just admit that he's pandering to his Igbo parishioners for reasons that are best known to him. Team, what do we make of this? When we talk about tribal divisions, it's a very, very sensitive topic, but we must use our platform to sort of talk about how stereotypes aren't great.
What I don't like about it is that it is just a small part of the sermon that was put on social media. That sermon was meant for his congregation. If there was no social media, we wouldn't have heard it. So right now we can't put that thing in context. So I can't say he was wrong or he was right or this and that, if you look at it from my point of view. Now the gentleman, former footballer, because right now, even if he's still playing, is definitely former. Carrying drugs, how much are you looking for? Football is a very lucrative business that you're into. The monies you're making out of football, is it not enough? Greed is what pushes us into crime. The choices we make determine the future that we end up living. The lady that was deported, man, you went with a tourist visa and they saw some business deals on your phone, you know. Definitely that's why they sent you back. It's a new policy in the United States of America, you know, and you are the first Nigerian that has been hit, that has made it public. Maybe that's why we appreciate that it's there on social media, but that you were deported, they have a right to do that.
Absolutely. I'm wondering why she came out to complain, knowing that what you did was actually wrong. Because when a country puts in a policy, you should follow through as a person who is trying to visit. And that's why we run into problems whenever we go to countries and do things that are contrary. And that is why you're facing that. I think the lesson for Nigerians who want to travel, if you are going with a tourist visa, then you should know that there are limits to what you can do. And if you go beyond that limit, you will face these same issues. So let's take our lessons seriously. And for the ex-footballer who was caught in the middle of a drug matter, we have been told the lesson here. If you did not pack the bag, do not collect it. I recall traveling to, I think it was, I was going to Malaysia, I think, and someone said he wants to keep a bag beside me, and I said, no, please, do not keep your bag around me. I don't want it. Don't even ask me to hold it or watch it. Ensure that you keep your bag as you are moving. Yeah. And so the lesson here, everyone ensure that if you want to travel and people are saying, help me carry this, be sure what you are carrying. That's the lesson. And for Pastor Bolaji's matter, I think that it was taken out of context. He was trying to perhaps pass a message across of do not be afraid, be courageous. But a lot of people decide to ethnicize it, and that's why it went viral.
Okay, so I'll start with the lady that wasn't allowed entry to the US. And I need people to understand that even in Nigeria, you need a residence and work permit to work here if you're not a citizen. So these are things that are very important that I think that people just take for granted. You cannot go with a tourist visa. And she's a very popular hair vendor. So you cannot go to a place like that with a tourist visa and expect to sell, because she was going for a trade where she was going to sell her things, and they saw it. So they had every right to tell her, you know, to go back. I feel sorry for her because a lot of money has gone down the drain. that's why she came out crying. I feel really bad for her, but it just teaches us to do the right things. The right things must be done. Now, moving on to talk about the ex-footballer, like, Veronica is saying, normally it's not a bad thing to carry somebody's bags, but it's because of the way we humans have now become, because I don't see why a human should try to set another human up, that it has become very scary right now that you cannot even help somebody carry the bag. It's really bad, and, we're kicking against drug abuse in any form. Now, let's talk about Pastor Bulaji. I would say also it was taken out of context, but in the message, he was talking about fear. So let's forget about Igbo and Yoruba, and let's just focus on what he was saying, that we should be fearless.
Yes, I agree with you, but one way or the other, because one thing is that if you look at the context, he is actually, trying to, strengthen the congregation and those who are listening, somebody like us, that listen, you need to conquer your fear, but probably it wasn't really thoughtful enough to have characterized it, using the tribal thingy to explain it. So I think if he's watching or if he has seen the backlash, it will definitely think better, in addressing this, in passing this, beautiful message that is, sent to his congregation. The woman who was sent back to the country, yeah, she felt very sad because she felt I'd put a lot of things, into place to get into this country. B1, B2 visa allows you for some business dealings, but it only has to be trade fair, conference, and meetings, but not direct sales or employment. I guess she fell short of that. So we need to also scrutinize, do our own due diligence before we embark on such journey. And then the US should also come out very, very clear. This is targeted at the students, but now we have come to realize that even if you're not a student, you might be heavily scrutinized, but they should put everything in black and white so that it is not subjected to discretionary or discretion of the immigration officer who would just say, yeah, I don't like your face, get out of our country. And all the countries too should also learn from this and think of how do we ensure that people that come into our country, they are coming into the country for the sole reasons they applied for.
Absolutely, team. Very interesting fact. Apparently, people are now hiring people to make their social media American visa friendly. They're scrubbing things clean, making it great for the American government. That's a new job. Moving on. In another development, from the rain-soaked streets of Lagos to global spotlight, the story of Anthony Madu has now come full circle. He was just crowned with an Emmy. Madu, the Disney original documentary directed by Nigerian filmmaker Joel Kachi Benson and co-director Matt Organs, has won an Emmy Award for Outstanding Arts and Culture Documentary at the 46th Annual News and Documentary Emmy Awards in New York City. The film tells the inspiring story of Anthony Madu, a young Nigerian ballet dancer who gained global attention at just 11 years old after a 44-second video of him dancing beautiful ballet barefoot in the rain scored over 16 million views and reminded the world about talent, opportunity, and the power of art. Take a look at this short film that won an Emmy.
I was 5 years old when I discovered ballet. People think that it's not for boys. It's my dream, and I have to follow it.
It's something that one have to embrace, accept, or appreciate.
To talk to you about Anthony, your son. He had so much raw talent that we are interested in at the school. You must be very proud.
I'm very proud of him. And I can't believe that I'm going to be schooling him.
I encourage everyone out there to go and watch this film and support the movement. I think that this win is not just a victory for filmmakers, it's a defining moment for African and indeed Nigerian talent and Nigerian stories on a global stage. Let's take a look at social media. What I find very interesting is that in this film, this young boy is doing something that is not traditionally masculine, and yet it has opened uncountable doors for him that he never would have had the chance to if he didn't go against the grain. Ziggy says, Westerners were quick to run a documentary for a boy child soaring in a female-dominated field, while neglecting thousands of black gifted hands with exceptional talents in STEM and creative arts, wasting in the streets across Africa. One objective, destroy masculinity. I always say there's always that one guy that's not happy about good news, but I have to be a balanced journalist. Eagle Eye says, this is such an amazing story. Who would have thought that an innocent display of talent at one little corner of our country would gain world recognition? It's incredible. Thanks to a believer in talent and hope like Kachi, to all those who have hidden talents, the world awaits. There's so many stories just waiting to be told. But in international news, President Donald Trump stirred reactions after appearing to flirt with an African reporter during a high-level peace ceremony between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. The event marked the signing of a US-brokered peace agreement aimed at ending decades of deadly conflict in eastern Congo. Among those present was a woman called Hariana Veras, a journalist originally from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, who seemed to draw President Trump's attention during the proceedings. He praised her appearance and professional reputation in front of the cameras and offered her warm compliments that many people saw as flirtatious. He called her beautiful inside and out and seemed to have a little fondness for this beautiful reporter. Take a look at this clip.
And I shouldn't say this because it's politically incorrect. She said, she's beautiful and you are beautiful. I'm not allowed to say that, you know, that could be the end of my political career, but I said it anyway. But you are beautiful and you're beautiful inside. So I wish I had more reporters like you. You covered Africa for a long time?
Yes, for over 10 years.
Wow.
I covered even your first administration.
Yes.
Now, that funny moment that you saw there came during what was supposed to be a serious diplomatic event. So many people are saying, President Trump, we need you to focus on the matters at hand. my beautiful black queen over there. Let's take a look at social media. I think he was innocent, but my opinion here is inconsequential. Frederick says, Trump reducing a strong black woman to her appearance. Maybe one day, white folk will see past their skin color. Interesting. Paul A. says, heaven forbid President Trump compliment someone. And finally, John Tito says, so many liberals under this post are offended on her behalf, but she likely sees the president's actions as just being kind. Very interesting. Before I hand over to my very capable team for their amazing perspectives, I'd like you guys to chime in with the hashtag TrendingNowTVC on any social media platform of your choice. I promise you that we are listening. Team, I have to say, if President Trump complimented me, I'd be beaming from ear to ear. I'd say, thank you, sir, I'd be happy. He did date a biracial woman back in the 90s, a mixed-race woman. So he's always been open about thinking black women are beautiful.
Yes, yes. I mean, very serious event, you know, and I want to compliment him for, first of all, saying what I'm about to say will not be seen as politically correct, but she's beautiful. It is nice that he could break it down that easily. I didn't see it as flirtatious. I just saw it as Trump being Trump. And I love the Anthony Madu story. Things like this is why I'm happy we have social media.
Great. And congratulations to Kachi on winning that Emmy nomination. I hope that he does more with regarding telling stories like this. And to Trump, he's just been a man, for goodness sake. He saw someone who is beautiful and he appreciated her. There's nothing wrong. I wonder how we interpret things these days. He just appreciated. Yes, it was a serious event, but he couldn't help but congratulate, or no, that's not the word I would, just compliment.
Acknowledge.
Compliment the lady for how she looked. And she was intelligent, being there. So kudos to you, Trump. You did well.
But I'll start with Kachi. Big congratulations to you. I just love to see when people follow your dreams, no matter what it is, and it's definitely getting all the accolades that he deserves. Big congratulations. Now go to this story, the Trump story. For a lover of suits, Olamide, her suits is a beautiful suit.
That's a power suit.
It's a power suit. And I say this a lot. As a journalist, you also need to look the part. It's very important. Be intelligent, but you need to look the part. And I need to follow on Instagram. I love that suit.
Absolutely.
Yes, congratulations to our own. You know, the lady, just keep at it. You'll definitely get to, you know, the apogee of it. Trump being Trump, not Trump being man. So it's okay that, you know, he appreciates the lady. By the way, she actually looked very, very beautiful. But we should not take our attention away from what that thing really was, you know, brokering peace between Rwanda and Congo. Hey, something is going to pay for it, because, you know, these are the countries that produce, you know, cobalt, gold, diamond, etc. And you know the US will never get involved in anything if it's never going to benefit them. So Africans, we need to open our eyes and see exactly what this peace deal is all about, because, hey, something is about to get into it.
All right, and we'll have to leave the conversation there now. So much has been said. Thank you, Olamide.
You're welcome.
That is a wrap on the program for this morning, but let's let you know that the views and reaction of all our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Up next is Your View with the ladies, and afterwards this morning with Yori Folarin. Stay safe. Bye.